Happy July. Good morning or good evening, wherever you are. We'll plunge right in. This is Adria. Let's see what Angels Ariel or Raphael want to share for the uplift, the good of humankind. So, general messages for where we are right now in our planetary existence and how we can get some good insight that might help our daily lives here, or our service to the planet, or both. This is Angel Raphael. Yeah, so it's a glorious moment of alive. Many of you are beginning to feel in palpable ways what it means to be so-called new human. It's not that you are genetically manufactured or something implanted or something off. By new human, we mean the evolution of species, which many have spoken of, where essentially you are upgraded to new potentials for this new earth. So those awakeness in many is beginning to take shape in the form of your outer world, what's happening in your life, in other words, and also the physical realm. So when things in your physical self, your world, and your physical being, fingers and toes and heart, organ, and so on, start to shift and wake up in such profound ways. Sometimes there are waking pains, let's call it that. So, sometimes when babies cry, it is because they don't yet know cause and effect of, well, they've activated this muscle to hold their leg in the air or something like this, and then it hurts because they've held it in the air so long, and they cry from the pain, but they don't really understand what they're feeling, or that they in fact are the cause. It is now an option for you. But for some of you, these abilities are coming online in ways that you're maybe not even quite aware of. So like with the baby holding your legs in the air, you may be in fact expending quite a lot of energy towards new gifts without awareness, and then fatigue comes, or grumpiness comes because you feel this sense of overextend. So if any of you are feeling right now, yes, I can relate to this feeling, perhaps I'm overextended, but I don't quite know why I feel this way, we would suggest at night and in the morning are natural times, but you could do this during the day as well, to consciously, with intent, perhaps turn on and then off your abilities, your sight, your sound, your senses in other ways, turning on and feels what that feels like just through your intent, and turning off and feeling if, oh, that's a relief. So try to experiment just through intent of pulling things in a little bit. Okay, I don't yet know how this works. In fact, I might not yet know exactly what these new gifts or ways of perceiving are. We use the word gifts because it's commonly people talk about psychic ability or healing arts as gifts. So that's what we mean by gift, not that you're singled out necessarily with a gift from a certain being, but that you have these innate skills and talents that might be new. So learning about them, one way is to try on switch and off switch. So start there, even if you're not really aware that, I'm not sure I am sensing anything differently. Well, let's say in a morning meditation you were to experiment with, all right, let's just turn off the new gifts, the new ways of perceiving. And feel what that feels like for an hour, a few minutes. Do you feel rested? Do you feel blind all of a sudden? And then in the same meditation, all right, let's turn that on. And what changed? And this is another way also of tuning into what are the new perceptive abilities that are coming online for you, so to speak, online. Again, you are not a computer. But the analogy works, they're powered on now. So give yourself time, like the baby learning about legs and feet could take a little while, but you have everything in you for these gifts. It's not that you have to go seek masters or tutorials or naming conventions to know what it is. It's just the practice. That's how babies learn, right? They practice and they get it wrong many times. They fall down many times. And yes, they have help. They have examples in the world, and you will have those as well. But use yourself as well. So try this on and off. One, to learn how to give yourself rest from constantly using your new gifts, and second, to learn what those gifts are. So if you had just woken up and you spent 3 hours just looking at everything, every leaf, every bird, and it's very exciting, but then it does get a bit tiring. Your eyes want to rest, right? So similarly, you may be enamored of your new ways of perceiving, your new ways of sight. And again, that can be through touch and taste and other senses as well in the more psychic realms. But you get tired as well, so good to have a rest. And there are ways of taking rest without, let's say, plummeting back into density or darker ways, more asleep ways of being. So you can practice and also rest. So that is mainly what we want to say today, is to try this trick on and off switch to begin to learn what your new abilities are. This is widespread for humankind, so even those who are not quote-unquote spiritual, even those who are not interested in exploring gifts, may be feeling a bit odd or know things that they don't quite know how they know. So those of you who watching now, you're a bit curious about these things, so we give a little more instruction on how to explore what your gifts are. But it's not for the chosen few, right? This is, the new human is for everyone. It's just that not everyone is going to make use of their gifts or understand, or maybe overwhelmed, and if they find out how to shut them off, will leave the off switch off, right? But that's where your free will comes into play. This is Adria. I see there's some comments or questions in the chat, so I'm going to check those. And also, if you have any questions, feel free to type in the chat. Since we don't have two-way audio, that's the way questions work for the Angel Update, for the live. Question, any information about the Lion's Gate? How can we use the energies best? And I appreciate you covering this. It does feel overwhelming to feel a shift in being able to have a more fine, detailed awareness of energies of myself and collective energies. And it can feel as though my nervous system is jittery, and I keep assuming that was a trauma, flight, or fight pattern that I've been needing to evolve, but what you're describing resonates more. Yes, absolutely. This is Raphael. So when new sensory input comes in, part of how those systems, nervous system being one of them, that are meant to protect and guide you in a physical sense, there can be this sense of alarm. Well, I have a whole bunch of new inputs and I don't know what they are. And so there can be this urgency to find out. Is this some new attack? What is it? And so it's good to ask yourself those questions. All right, is it safe? You can start with those. Is this another being in my field? Just asking your sense of knowing, your intuition. Is this safe? And if you feel, yes, it's safe, okay, well, good. So I don't have to proceed with alarm, but this sure is odd. I don't know what it is. But now that I know it's safe, okay, I can just explore a bit, or nuance, discover the nuance. If you feel it's not safe, that's where you can come into very lovingly asserting your sovereign self. Oh, hey, whoever, whatever this is my space, this is my being, and I get to be here, not you. Thank you very much. And you can call in your angels or guides to help, of course. So you're not alone in this, either the exploration or the safety of your being. Yeah, so overwhelm or panic or distress are quite common responses here. So use the off switch, give yourself a bit of a rest, and then when you turn it on, you can have that intention, or what is it that maybe is drawing my energy? And so you can have that curious sense of play again, and then, okay, I'll turn it off for a while. I see why that was taking so much room, energetic room. This is Raphael. Yeah, so Lionsgate energies and using them. Whatever your intention, we have said this before, when you have an intention, let's say for a new project, a new love, or expansion of your gifts, or sharing some way in the world, when you open that wider to the space of wishing, to angels or guides or the universe, whatever reflects best for you as a sense of I'm not alone in this. When you have that intention, and once is enough, but you can certainly, if something is important, revisit your wishes and your intention. You can trust that astrological alignments, beings who are serving with you, will nudge you. Oh, sit down and meditate now. Or a friend may send you some video of a particular meditation. So there are ways of aligning with astrological moments, but also we don't want you to overly focus that if you miss it, you somehow missed some key moment in your developmental journey. Because when you have an intention so strong for a new project, for a way of serving, for a way of growing and learning, any of these, the ways reach you. They may be very mundane ways. Maybe a new job, it may be a new friend, it may be a new type of food that solves the issue, crisis your body was in. It was missing this one ingredient to build its own health. So it may be subtle, but especially now in what we call the new earth, when time is in service of you and not the other way around, you don't have to feel alarm if you miss an alignment, a planetary alignment, if you missed meditating or seeing that asteroid fly through. Or it's not so much about aligning with precise timing anymore as it is using the elements that are available to you, and planetary energies are one of those elements, to reflect back and align with your wish. And you may have more than one wish, of course. So, best way of using astrological happenings is to again come back in that moment. What is it that I want, and how can I be most open to being of service to that myself and receiving from others? The others may be planets or beings, people among them, but also interplanetary, interdimensional beings, the earth, the elementals. So having an openness. How can I take action now, and how can I receive? Beautiful. A couple more questions. I love how lively it is in the chat today. Thank you all. Are new allergies part of the symptoms? And are there some gifts you may just not be opening to this lifetime? Say one has asked for a long time to have certain gifts come online, but they have not come on despite years and years of asking. Does it mean that those gifts may not be on your list to experience this lifetime? This is Angel Raphael. So allergy, quite simply, is the word no. It's an inflammation response, yes, but it's the word no to something. So for you, we would say to meditate a bit. So it can be open-eyed, could be reflection or journaling, but to meditate a bit on what am I saying no to? Because most often allergies are provoking in you rest or the inability to follow through on something when you were a little bit doggedly going to do it anyway, and maybe it's something you didn't want. So that's the aspect of this we would suggest to look into. In terms of gifts, yes, this is Raphael. So let's say you had always wanted to see visions in meditation or to be a visual artist, but your skills are in song and dance. And so this could be in the more physical realm, but also the metaphysical realm. So inner movements of light or vocal sound of some kind. But you always wanted to see visions in meditation. Can you have that? If a gift is going to be a disservice to you, and this is what we're seeing in your case about the gift about which you inquire, in other words, it was going to be a shiny object that would keep your attention, but perhaps keep you from what you really, on a soul level, want to be doing here in this life. It may be blocked from you experiencing it, because if it was something you dearly loved in another lifetime or even a future one, so you have this sense, no, I'm supposed to have this ability, but it's not what you as a soul designed for your service and your light in this life, it could be a harmful distraction. So that's your particular answer here right now. But in general here we want to say you can still have your wishes even if things don't seem to be lining up, but take it one level deeper. So let's use the same example. You always wanted to have visions in your meditation. Why was that? Is it because you read a book at some time or some meditation teacher had so much passion and light and they were describing an experience they had and you thought, I want that? But the way that in your innocence at that moment you thought how you have that is you have a vision in meditation, but maybe what you really want is the transcendent knowing or the dissolving into bliss that came along with that person's visual meditation. So take it one level deeper. If you feel you've been doing all the right things, intending, wishing, maybe even taking classes or learning from books or others about a particular gift and it's just not alive in you right now, take it one level deeper. Why do I want this gift? Is it just for entertainment, in which case maybe it's going to take me off track? But for each of you, we would say there's more sincerity there. So what is it about this particular gift that I think would be so lovely? And from angelic perspective, things don't all have to be purposeful or intentional in the sense of this has to be for serving the planet or it has to be for my soul growth. Some things are just a delight that you're longing to have. So we don't mean that everything has to be serious or spiritual or in service. But still, there's usually a deeper layer of, well, why do I want that thing? So when you allow yourself to go a few layers deeper, you may still get that exact thing, But it may be that you recognize, oh, what I really want is to feel that I have direct access to the divine. And then you may recognize quite quickly the ways you do have access to the divine and spend more of your time, your meditation or your songs or your dance or your writing in those gifts that you do have. And other ones maybe you've never heard of might come online for you as well once you become aware of what is the intent. So when there are so many new gifts, certainly there are lists of catalogs, or what are the types of empathy, or what are the types of psychic knowing, and so you can find those quite readily in this day and age. Some of the gifts, the ways of perceiving, the ways of manipulating light are new. So you may not have a word or even a concept for some of the gifts that are now in your awareness, which is one of the reasons we suggest turning off and turning back on your unknown new gifts, whatever they are, because they may not be anything that's been in your consciousness before, or that's been in general knowledge, let's say in the last year or decade or 100 years. So having the innocence to notice what's different when you turn the on switch on to your gifts will help as well. It may not be on any list. You may be the first to have this gift, or in a wave of, a few hundred or a few thousand people who are the first to have this gift. So one of the things we recommend is not comparing to old lists, either teachers that you had and you always aspired to have that gift yourself, or experiences that you had once and are trying to reclaim, or that you read about in a book. Because you may have something even more wondrous from your perspective, but you've just never named it before, or felt it before, or witnessed it in any sense. So it's a beautiful, amazing time of awakeness to these gifts. But be cautious of not over-defining, contextualizing according to what other people's lists are of what might be possible for you. As a question, as you spoke of allergies, I wonder about chronic skin conditions. Does physical aspects we experience represent spiritual aspects that our spirit is trying to tell us? And there's a specific skin condition there. So this is Angel Raphael. So the physical right now is different than the physical last year, and this will become more apparent in the next few seasons, how interrelated, how interconnected things are. Yes, the body still has organs, skin among them, that can have certain disorders that are named, but science sometimes gets it wrong, right? Sometimes under the microscope and the cause and the effect, and well, this is caused because of this. It's not always correct, factually correct, about what will be the solution or what is the cause of what you have as a disease, even if it is named and you know very well what it is. Certainly for many, many physical ailments, there is a soul component to this, either a challenge to learn and grow through, or something that is out of balance that can be removed or balanced. So an attachment of negative energy, or yourself focused too much in one area of your life where something else wants attention. So again, with your gifts, we would suggest here generally that ask questions. Even if you don't hear words in response, you will each have your way of knowing, oh, that's more on the right track. If you were to ask in this case, for example, okay, so I have this enduring skin condition. It's not just I brushed against a plant and I got a rash. This is something that's been with me and looks like it's staying for a while. So how do I change this? So you could ask yourself, would changing my diet influence my skin? And then just feel the answer. Oh, and there may be more than one answer, so we suggest continuing with your questioning. Would taking supplements, either prescription or non-prescription, influence my skin? And feel the response there. And this is a beautiful exercise, because in doing something like this, of course, there would be other questions. Do cords need to be cut, or could planetary energies help with this? You could think of any number of questions. In asking a series of questions, you begin to see, where is your response coming from? Is it a sense of settledness and unsettledness? Is it a physical sensation in the body? Is it words or messages? Is it an image of an animal? Or a plant? You come to, even if you can't quite yet interpret it, you begin to understand what your language is with yourself, with your ways of knowing. So asking a series of questions, if you can be polite with yourself and not impatient. I didn't get an answer yet, but only one of those, my body started shaking. Well, maybe that's a kind of an answer. So again, taking the time to explore, you're not babies and children in the sense of immaturity, but in the sense that everything is new right now. And so old conditions as well, brain, skin, organs, lungs, old conditions can be approached in new ways at this time as well. So we encourage deeply questioning your ways of perceiving. So asking many, many questions until you hit on something that's, that will move things, that will shift things. Because it's very rare that the answer is, well, you're just supposed to endure, grin and bear it. That's very rarely the answer. So keep asking questions until you find those elements that something feels more alive, and then get nuanced with that, or just put your intention and intent on learning more about that, and it will come either through you or through others. You'll magnetize it towards you. Great. Learning how to interpret myself is a huge part of what I'm learning to do right now, so this makes a lot of sense. Beautiful, yes. And there's a question, I'm unsure of the ways I have changed in recent years, whether I am closer to my soul nature. Here again, this is Angel Raphael, is where comparison is not helpful. So comparing yourself to your past or future self, if you get glimpses of those, comparing yourself to others in your soul group, or comparing yourself to a partner or a friend, are not helpful. Only in the sense that you might notice, oh, he's visual and she is not, and I don't seem to be either. I'm something else. And so where it leads you to curiosity. So start right now in the present, as if, because it is so much the case right now for each of you, even if you have well-established gifts and know your purpose here, it's so much the case for each of you that new ways of being are coming online. So pretend to not know yourself, because it's very true for each of you. There's more that you don't yet see that's just new. And so you don't have to compare. You just come right into, when you're asking questions or turning on and off the switch and being curious about what you are now, what your ways of perceiving, ways of healing, ways of understanding the world, ways of enjoying the world, how all of that may have changed. That's more helpful than comparison. another series of questions as you are in this exploration could be, what do I most enjoy right now? And that can lead you into your ways of perceiving and your gifts. Do I really enjoy music right now? Do I enjoy the visual arts? Do I enjoy walking on the sand? Do I enjoy dance or play of some kind? Do I enjoy cloud patterns and weather? And not taking that at surface value then. Well, if I enjoy music, maybe I'll spend more time with music and see where that brings me. And not being upset with yourself. Well, that doesn't seem like a gift. Maybe it's a clue to lead you to understanding yourself better. Again, these are uncharted waters. Yes, there are those who have that sort of x-ray vision to be able to see into you and say, oh, this is your gift, or this is your time is now for this thing. But isn't it fun to explore on your own and give credence, credibility to your own ways of knowing and sight and playfully discover that? But takes a bit of patience, and you're not getting it wrong. You're just figuring it out, which is part of the wonder of life. This is Adria. I'm hearing it's time to end. I'm just going to listen and make sure if there's any other message, but I think we're wrapping up for today. This is Raphael. Our blessings, angelic blessings to each of you as you explore, that you have the patience and kindness with yourself. Be patient, be kind. You are a reflection of your universe, and your universe is in a wondrous moment of change. So can you witness, live through, be with, without needing to know everything all at one time point? But understand from here things are more magical, more nuanced, more alive, and you are part of that awakening. Thank you all so much for tuning in and for all of your questions and comments. Beautiful, beautiful. Appreciate you so much, and see you next month.